Get ready with me for a first date. Another one. Here we go. Who is she? Another first date. Get ready with me. Wow. I'm really just apparently on a kick here. So I've got my early 2000s playlist going. I am ready to get ready. So, okay, it's a Bumble connection. So obviously I had a message first. Seems nice. He seems the way I give no man the benefit of the doubt. He does have some red flags, I can't lie, but he also admits that he has those red flags. So maybe he's self-aware. I'm getting more just like dumb boy, bad communicator vibes, not like master manipulator, womanizer vibes. But basically, we've been talking since like October-ish. And throughout that time, he has kind of ghosted a couple times, but I also ghosted once. So I don't like majorly hold that against him. But then he admitted this last time that he ghosted was kind of like a lot. Like, that's ghosting. And he was like, I'm really sorry. I got really busy with work. And then I just like, you know, and he like took accountability a lot and was majorly nice about it. And I have enjoyed our getting to know you discussions up until this point. He seems pretty nice, just like probably a bit overwhelmed with life is the vibe that I'm getting, which we all are. So that's like fair enough. And I mentioned, I was like, I kind of feel like you're not excited about me, because somebody that's excited about me, and again, he doesn't owe me this. And I said that, I'm like, you don't owe me this. We haven't met in person yet, but like we've been talking here and there for a while now. And like, if you were excited about me, I feel like you'd want to go on a date and you wouldn't ghost me and stuff. And he's like, no, that's so fair. And I respect your boundaries and you have to protect your peace if you don't want to keep talking. Fair enough. I just have been kind of going through it and working a lot, and that's on me, and, you know, took accountability for that. So I don't know. He seems nice enough. I'm like, I want to meet him in person, because again, this has all just been an online connection. I want to meet him in person and kind of suss the vibes out, because we've had like a couple deep chats is kind of generous, but like a couple chats, and I'm like, okay, maybe this has potential, but I'm not loving the ghosting element of things. And I feel like there's going to be a camp of people that are like, yeah, I would give him a chance to just see what he's like in person. And then there's a camp that's like, he wouldn't even get me on a date. So like, I'm very aware that there's, you know, mixed feelings on this possibly. Anyway, all that to say, I'm giving him a chance. We'll see what the vibes are. I have yet to suss out fully. He texted me. He said, I confirmed the time of our date. And he just said, sounds good. It's a busy ass night. So basically, I'm just like, I didn't read his text out loud, but it was like a very, like, if you want someone to apologize for ghosting you and take accountability, that's what his message was. Like, it was not too perfect, you know, where it felt like a manipulator, but it was good, like, where I'm like, he gets it. He understands where I'm coming from about, like, why I wouldn't want to waste my time with him. And it sounds like he's respectful of that. So I was, like, ready to give him a chance for tonight. And now I'm like, okay, so he just said it's a busy-ass night. So I'm like, is he prepping to, like, not go on the date because it's, like, a busy night? Or is he saying that as like, that's why he hasn't responded till just now and the date's in an hour? So I'm going to go with the latter. Why? This looks like it could go really bad. Like, everything I'm saying to you guys, if I was watching this video, I'd be like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? But the thing is, his vibes are very not, I don't know. Like, I'm not getting bad vibes, but maybe I should be. The inner conflict I'm having is like, actually insane. So I'm gonna go. I love the restaurant, by the way, so I also really want to go, and hopefully he pays for me. I mean, I don't expect it, like I said on my last date, but that would have been nice if the last date paid for it. It would be really nice if this date paid for it. If he doesn't, I probably won't say a damn thing about it, because I go really back and forth about whether I should pay or not. Not pay for both of us, but like go halvesies. It's a conflict in my feminism, I guess. that's a really long-winded, okay? And I'm sure there's a lot of opinions out there, and I don't necessarily think there's right or wrong. And, you know, I don't need to get into the sociological and psychological aspects of who pays for the date. But anyway, all I'm saying is I hope that I get a nice meal out of this at the very least. So I'm going, that's it. I've already decided, like, I'm already here. I fucking showered, like, not that I wouldn't have anyway, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I got nothing better to do. So one thing I will say, we have yet to talk politics. And I am a little worried about that. He's from, I can't remember which one of the Dakotas. He's from one of the Dakotas, but he's Native. And so I'm like, that should be fine, right? And like the most we've said about something broaching that topic would be, yeah, the world is like really crazy right now and kind of going to shit. So, but like if he is Native and supports the orange man, yikes, you know what I mean? And if he were one, that's a deal breaker. And sorry, not sorry. And it wasn't listed in his profile. The only thing like in that range was like Indigenous rights. And I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, there's some hope there. But like, if you're not riding for all, what are we doing? You know what I mean? This is a lot of red flags, I feel like. And I'm just like, let's go on a date. Help. So I read the text fully and I missed that it said running kind of late. It's been a busy ass night. Is that preparing to cancel, we think? I guess time will tell. I'm still gonna get ready, I guess. Oh, I hate that. It's been 30 minutes since he said, don't leave your house for the restaurant yet. I'm still finishing up at work. Do I even go at this point? The restaurant closes at 10. It's 8:44 p.m. 8:44 p.m. What am I doing? As I'm sure you're shocked, canceled. He canceled. Not going on a date. Now I'm starving. Yes. Good thing I have this DoorDash gift card from Christmas. What are you gonna do? The red flags were red flagging, and this whole video is just like pretty much a compilation of me being like, but I'm sure he's nice. And he may very well be a nice person, but he's probably the worst communicator ever. Canceled. I'm sorry, you're canceled.
Story time on how I found out that I was pregnant at 16. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Savannah. I'm 17 and 20 weeks pregnant. Anyways, let's get into the video. So, I just moved to a new house. And the first morning there, I was like so sick. Like I woke up, I had a headache, I was nauseous, and I was just like, where is this coming from? And then it stuck around, but it really wasn't as noticeable. So I kind of just assumed it was like a stomach bug. I never really like threw anything up. I was just nauseous, pure nauseous. It was mostly at night and in the morning. Throughout the day, I was perfectly fine. And whenever me and my boyfriend actually went to a fair, and it was so hard. Like, walking around was so hard. Everything I ate, I was so nauseous and picky with. And I honestly, like, I didn't think I could be pregnant because I was also on birth control. And me and my boyfriend were very careful, if you know what I mean. So it did not cross my mind. I was like, no way. Didn't even. Now, my boyfriend said that he actually did think about it when I told him. Like, it was awful. But it lasted 2 more weeks, and I was like, okay, this is enough. Like, this is enough. I told my mom, I need to go to the doctors now. So I went to school that day. I left early, and then we went to the doctors. Funny enough, me and my boyfriend were sitting at lunch together in school, and I just remember he pulled out honey mustard, and I couldn't. I made him move over and I couldn't. So I went to the doctors. They asked me my symptoms, and I've always had super irregular periods because I've been on birth control since I was 13 for cysts. So I wasn't even thinking it. The doctors were like, how late are you? When was the last time you got your period? I was 5 days late. Okay, this is normal too, like super normal. And I remember too, I was also like, I was just waiting for my period. I was picking out clothes this way. If when I went to school, I didn't get my period and you couldn't see it, you know, but it never came. So then when I was at the doctor's, they said that. I told them my symptoms, obviously right there with those symptoms. They were like, yeah, we're gonna give you a pregnancy test. I was like, okay. Doctor comes in, she's like, have you been sexually active lately? I was like, yeah. And then she's like, you're pregnant. It was positive. I was like, can you repeat yourself? I was like, can you repeat yourself? What did you say? She's like, it was positive. And I passed out. And then they took my blood. Next morning, they scheduled me for an ultrasound to see how far along I was. I was already almost 3 months pregnant. Remember the time when I said my periods are super irregular? Yeah. I didn't notice. It was also like summertime, so I was like, you know, okay. That's probably why I didn't notice. But I found out in September. And I remember I told my boyfriend, I couldn't wait. I was like, we need to talk. Like, you need to come over. We need to talk. And obviously, at first we were all like, oh my God, this is not good. This is awful. What are we gonna do? My mom knew because she was sitting in the doctor's office with me. And my mom was just like, you know, it's gonna be okay. You know, we'll talk about this tomorrow when everything's settled down. I was like, okay. And we were all just really shaken up. We didn't tell my boyfriend's parents until like a week later, if I'm being completely honest, because we were just so scared. Anyways, fast forward. And now we're really happy about it. Like, now we're just like looking at it like, this is a blessing. Like, yes, it's gonna be hard. I should not have happened, but it did, and we're just gonna take the best control over it that we could. Now everybody is so supportive. Like, honestly, they weren't not supportive, but everybody was just like, you guys are 16 and 17, like. So yeah. So once like my boyfriend's family knew and my family knew, I then announced that at 18 weeks. We didn't tell my boyfriend's family until I was 15 weeks, and we didn't tell my family until I was about 13 weeks. But they were all more supportive. I remember when we told my boyfriend's parents, okay, his mom just kind of came out with it, and I was just standing there, and I remember I was facing like this way, and all of his family was behind me, and they were like, you can look at us. And I just remember I like turned around so slowly because I didn't know what to expect. It was actually so funny when I think about it, but they were so supportive. They were like, it's okay, like, it's okay. And I was like, okay. But they were all really supportive. They are really supportive, honestly. Like, I have not had one negative thing be said from either sides of the family. So, yeah. But I didn't announce it to, like, social media, I guess, or one of my friends did know when I was 8 weeks, like, when I first found out. But, yeah. So, that's how I found out that I was pregnant.
Since 2026 is ending, here's a story time of why I broke up with one of my best friends for cheating on her fiance. A little backstory. I'm trying to keep this as much about my experience versus that. By no means am I trying to bash or shame this person. Everybody makes mistakes. That's not the point of the story. So let's get into it. So this friend, this is the backstory, had been wanting to get engaged to said fiance for a long time. It took a long time for them to get engaged, but they were engaged. So this friend started going to Orange Theory classes, workout classes that was intermixed with men and females. This friend slowly started to hang out with only the men from this workout class. And to me, that was weird. And I had mentioned to my friend several times, like, hey, you're engaged. This is a little odd. Like, I don't have guy friends. Like, I don't legit have guy friends that I go hang out with one-on-one, but everybody, you know, your relationship, your rules. It was this time last year that she calls me, and she's supposed to be getting engaged in May. And she goes, hey, can I stay over at your house? And I was like, yeah, sure. I had looked at, and she never called me and said this. So I was looking at her location and it said that she was in, let's call it Malbury. A year ago from then, when it was her birthday, we went out on her birthday with all of these new guy friends from this class and a couple of girls that were there, but her fiance was also not there. And one of those guys from the class had sat there and said, I live in Malbury. Now, I don't know what it is about my brain, but I remember every single detail. I can't help it. So when she called me saying, hey, can I stay at your place? And then I look at her location, she's in Malbury. She never says this. I'm like connecting the dots, like something's going on, but also why is she there? And also I already thought the thing with this one guy that said that was weird. And so I'm like, sure. She comes over that night and I'm like, hey, like, I was wondering what you're doing. I saw you in Malbury all day. And she goes, well, I'm calling off my engagement. I'm calling it quits. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, to be honest, I thought it was weird that you would hang out with, let's call the guy Drake, that you and Drake from this class hung out like fairly often. I thought that was weird. And I was wondering what you were doing in Malbury all day. So months pass and it's probably like February, March. I help her get moved into her new place and everything. And I said, you know, if it was getting to know Drake that helped you realize that, let's say Silas was not the man for you, I understand. She says nothing. Like another month passes and she's like, well, I'm seeing somebody. And she's like not sharing her location anymore. And she's not like texting me. Like if you were just like called off an 8-9 year relationship, you think you might, maybe not, like maybe she had already, you know, in her head, she explained that she was already over it, whatever. But usually it's because you're distracting yourself. And she goes, yeah, I've started to see Drake. And I said, I saw this from 1,000 miles away. Obviously. And again, I give her the opportunity to tell me the truth because I already know that she has been, if it's not physically, emotionally cheating on her spouse with Drake. So I give her another chance to come clean, to come and be honest and tell the truth. She doesn't. I give her another chance after this and she doesn't. She keeps like burying it in, like she hasn't just like left her fiance, whether it's like, obviously that wasn't meant to be, but the principle of it is, if you're going to do something, at least be honest about it and tell the truth. Now, this is where it gets juicy. So I sent her this big, long text message after her birthday this fall, the next year, this time last year, like whenever it was her birthday. And so she has her birthday party and it's with new Drake. And afterwards, like there's so many things going through and she's just bashing her ex so much. And mind you, the ex, he has come over to our house and is crying his eyes out, and she's essentially blamed him for the entire thing. Like essentially is like, he's so controlling, like painting him out to be like the worst person in the world. And I know him, I'm like, he's not that. And like, I get this, you don't see everything, but I know enough. And I knew that really she was trying to place the blame on him because she had been caught cheating. But he didn't know that. The new guy, I saw all this going down. I was like, oh no. Oddly enough, the very next day after her birthday with new Drake, I see her ex and just shoot like weird timing. And I'm like, this is a God moment for sure. And he flat out asked me, is she seeing anyone? And I said, yes. And he asked, is she seeing Drake? And I was like, yes. And finally for him, like the pieces started to come together like, oh, like she left me, like she was cheating on me. Now to the juicy part. Drake and my friend had both been in long-term relationships, both cheated on their long-term partners to be with each other. And they both lied about it and are still lying about it to this day. So the ex-fiance, the guy, like the ex-fiance, Drake's ex-girlfriend messaged the ex-fiance and said, hey, like I have some weird energy going on. And I guess a year before that, like I'm trying to give you guys a good timeline. I'm so bad at this. That the ex-girlfriend of Drake had found some of my friend's stuff in their apartment, and Drake had told the ex-girlfriend that the ex-fiance, my friend, and him all worked together, and that he had just happened to, like, they were all over at the apartment and they just left stuff there, and that like they were all driving to work. Like, spew on spew on spew on spew on spew on lies. What the gag of this all is that she's still lying about it. Like, none of her family, nobody knows that, like, what actually happened, that, like, she actually cheated. And for me, it got to a point where I flat out said, like, you can't keep hiding forever. And it's not that people don't make mistakes, but it's the fact that you can't be truthful or honest about the mistakes. Like, I still would have been upset if I'm like upset that she did that. Like, I'm not okay with that at all. I get that there's women on this app that, like, are like, I don't give a fuck what my friend, or sorry, I'm trying to stop cupping, give a crap what my friend does. Like, that has nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. It's character flaws, baby. And not only that, is that my friend ended up cutting off all of her other friends, especially the friends that she made that was in this Orange Theory class and also knew the fiance. She just cut them all off except for one that lives out of state. Like, she has literally cut off every single person that she has in her life to maintain this lie. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of the whole thing. So after she just could not come clean and could not be honest and truthful, I can't do it. Like, I can't be friends with somebody like that. And I can't be friends with somebody that they cheat on their partner and then make it seem like the partner did something. This man was in such a spot, so terrible. She put him in such a terrible spot. Like, how could you do that to somebody? That's crazy. Like, I can't imagine if a man did that to me. I would lose my mind. So anyways.
Here's my first date story. Okay, I'm doing a story time for all my friends. I already knew this person from before. Really, like 3 years ago, they asked me on a date, and I was like, no, not interested at all. So I was like, you know what? Like, literally, there's no harm in going on a first date. People can change a lot after school. We get to the restaurant, and we end up getting some food, and then we got 2 bottles of wine. I feel like I was probably having like a fourth of the bottle of wine each time, but long story short, I wasn't really feeling anything crazy. So he's like, do you want to go to a wine bar? We get another bottle of wine. I feel like I had like a glass of it, but I felt like I was talking a lot, so I feel like I wasn't like drinking. It runs out, and then he's like, do you want to get another bottle? I was like, I don't care. Let's like started saying some like kind of diabolical things, like pretty crazy stuff. Get another bottle of wine, and it's literally the same bottle. He fills up my cup and it like spills on me. He like filled it and it missed half of it, so like a bunch went on my lap. I was like, okay. On our 4th bottle, and he is sitting across from me the entire time, but he's like, can I come sit next to you? I was like, sure. I mean, it was kind of a very like dark setting place. I want to mention one thing. He definitely knows a good about me, but he would ask me questions that he already knows the answer to throughout the whole night. This started out like from the restaurant. Anything I said, he like really wasn't listening to me that much. He wasn't giving like thorough responses back. I felt like it was almost like a one-sided conversation the whole time. But cut back, we're on the 4th bottle. He's sitting next to me and we're like talking more. There was a TV across from us where we were sitting, and so I was like, there was some of the games on. I looked to my left where he's sitting. Literally, he's like this. I grab his arm and I'm like, hello, what are you doing? Like, he was like, oh my god, no, I'm not sleeping, no. I start talking, and I look over again, and I literally watch his eyes go like this. And then his head bops down. But I was like, this is my out. So I slide out of the booth, run to the bathroom, and start calling an Uber. Someone yells out, and they're like, your date just fell asleep, and he's getting kicked out right now. Out there, and there's 2 like door guys talking to me. And I'm like, did he pay? Like, do I need to pay? I can put my car down if needed. We made him pay, but he's like outside. They're like, are you going with him? I was like, nope. Like, come with us. They sneak me out some like back exit. They sneak me out a back exit, and I like, literally, they're like, go. I'm like, all right. So I literally take off, and then I meet my Uber, and I go home, and I was just in the Uber in disbelief. What happened? This was a first date. Like, why did you drink that much? Date, I was like, oh, what were you and your roommate doing before this? He's like, oh, we were just having some wine. I was like, dude, you drank before the date too? Like, what is wrong with you? I go home, I wake up at 8 in the morning. I was planning on never saying a word to him ever again. I see a text from him at 8 in the morning, and he said, thanks for hanging out with me last night. I had such a great time. Which I reply, thanks, had a good time too, until you fell asleep on me mid-sentence. Text me back. Not an apology, not 1 ounce of shame about anything that happened. And he just says, yeah, too much wine. I should have cut it off after the restaurant. What a shitty response. I'm never texting you again. Then he calls me 2 minutes later. I don't answer, obviously, because no. Later that night, he texts me again. He's like, hello. Don't answer. I end up going out that night and running into his friends were there and he was there. And I was talking to one of his friends. We did not talk about it at all. We were talking about other things. And then his friend was like, heard you had a good time last night. I was like, yep. That's literally all they said. He was telling his friends. He'd never even brought anything up, but he was like telling them that I slept over. You're gonna completely make up these lies that literally didn't even happen and fall asleep on my date? No. No day will ever top how bad that one was though, so we can only go up from here.
With me for school, but the guy, actually I might just say his name, he made an account and he made a new account, he found my account and he made his own videos and he was commenting on my stuff, so I guess I left out things. I don't think I did because I went live and I talked about a lot of stuff, but I have a notebook with the stuff that I left out. So first thing he talked about in this video was like, well, not the first thing, but like, was like how our like relationship was going. And whenever my parents found out, he told me he was moving. That same day, he told me he was moving in a year or two. Not a year or two. Oh my gosh. He told me he was moving in a month or two. And I was like, okay, well, why can't we just work it out till you leave? My parents don't need to know for that length of time. The audio cut out, so I have to record this clip. But maybe I was bad for saying like, oh, my parents don't need to know, because it was only 1 or 2 months. I didn't know how much time I had. I didn't even know if he still liked me, but I loved this guy with my whole heart. So maybe I was bad, but like, actually, I would have done anything for him. I mean, I chased him for over a year and everything, and, you know, sometimes things just go bad. But next, he talked about the crazy stuff my parents said about him. And the crazy stuff, I wouldn't say it's crazy, like insane, like, oh, I'm gonna him. My parents never said anything like that. They just said that he had some growing up to do. And that he needed to grow up before they wanted him with me. Like, he needed to mature. And that's really all my parents said. And also they said, like, that he's shorter than me. And, like, he's smaller than me. So that's what they talked about. How he has growing up to do. That he's moving away. And that, like, he's smaller than me. So that was the crazy stuff my parents said about him. Like, apparently it was crazy. So the reason I went to TikTok about this is because I felt like nobody else was going to listen. Well, I also came here to get, like, strangers, like, opinions on it. And a lot of people have given me good opinions, like, good and bad, which I've taken all into consideration. But I needed somewhere to go where it wasn't somebody that I was emotionally attached to already. I felt like I had cried enough to, like, my family, my friends, and I was just like, I need to do something else. Because my youth group isn't going to listen about it. Like, my friends, I'm pretty sure they started to get annoyed because I was talking about him every day. Because, like I said, I loved this guy. The last thing was about, like, the controllers and everything. So, in his video, he said that he told me that there's a big event. But he never did. I mean, I can put the screenshots on here, but I'm not going to do that. But he told me, can I just use them till Christmas, like, till after Christmas, and I'll give you $20. And my family that bought it for me, they said that I shouldn't be lending. Like, I didn't tell them that it was him that I lent them to, but I let them know that, like, I lent them out to someone, and they said that I shouldn't be lending out things like that. They're really expensive, because I did tell them that, like, the person that I lent them to broke their controller, and they said, well, you shouldn't be lending stuff out to people like that. especially if they already broke theirs, because it's expensive. And also, I've been wanting to play my game too. But also, what I am gonna mention, because I know that he's here, is you had no right to go to youth group and talk about the situation, not between us, but about the controllers, and make the person that lent them to you look like a bad person. Because I literally just wanted my stuff back, and I loaned it to you. That means that I'm gonna ask for my stuff back. And whenever you talk to whoever you were talking to about it, 3 girls, I'm pretty sure you know, because I'm not gonna name drop them on here. You said, guys, I'm so upset because someone looks back at me and then he eyes me the whole time while talking about it. Without saying my name, isn't that obvious who it is? And also, I have literally everyone blocked on here from youth, so they wouldn't see stuff like this and think that you're a bad person. Because other people in my comments, strangers, think that you're a bad person. I mean, I don't. So, I mean, nothing else I can do. I just wanted to come here because I had nowhere to go about it. My computer just died. But I had nowhere to go about the situation. So what else am I gonna do? You literally had friends online. You had people at youth group. You had your mom that you always go to. I couldn't go to my mom about that situation. What would she have said? You just get over him. That's what my mom would have said. So maybe I was wrong for coming on here and talking about her situation, but that's all I had. And some people might be like, oh, talk to God about it, but I have talked to God about situations. And yeah, like, God does miracles, but it's just, he wasn't for me. And I know my faith is bad because I've had a lot of stuff happen. It's been a really hard year. So I just wanted to come on here and clear things up. Like, I'm not done getting ready, but I'm gonna go. Okay. Bye, guys.
You know that something has deeply affected you when both your husband and your sister agree with you, but it's still not enough. So I'm coming on here to tell you guys about what my stepmom did to me that's making me actually lose my mind. So picture this, my dad and my stepmom have been together for a long time. They live in the house, that's my childhood home, in Vegas. I live in Utah. I'm newly married. I live in a 1-bedroom basement apartment. Okay, cool. So Sunday, 2 days ago, today's Tuesday, my dad's FaceTiming me and he says to me, hey, I'm going through a couple of your things, showing me stuff. Do you want to keep this? Yes, no. I say no. Great, whatever. I know that they've been wanting to clean out my room for a little bit, but I just simply haven't had the time since they told me they wanted me to clean it out, considering it was in October. I've only been back to Vegas one time since then, which was during Thanksgiving. I was only in Vegas for 24 hours during that time, all of which I spent with my immediate family, being my dad, my sister, and my stepmom. So they knew I didn't have time to clean it out. So my dad's FaceTiming me, asking me if I want to keep things. I'm saying yes or no. He then pans over to my closet. Nothing in there. And I'm like, where's all my stuff? And he's like, oh yeah, like it went to the Goodwill. Sorry? I'm literally like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean all my stuff went to the Goodwill? And I'm sitting there like, all of my cheer stuff with it was in there. Like, that was an era of my life that I didn't want to forget. I had my competition uniform. I had my 2 World Champion Summit rings that I won in there. I had my authentic Mexican dresses from my mission in there. I had my mom's clothes, which I hold very near and dear to my heart. It's all gone? What do you mean it's all gone? I was like, oh yeah, and my diploma was in there. Hopefully you didn't throw that away. Freaking out. I'm literally like, oh my gosh. My dad is noticing the severity of this. I truthfully believe he already knew how bad it was. He was just trying to play it off and like hope it went well. And I'm like freaking out. He then looks at me and he's like, I didn't do it. Like, it was your stepmom. So he walks out onto the banister, and I can hear her being like, oh, I didn't think anything in there was important. How would you know? It's not your stuff. She's like, I just thought it was backpacks and clothes. Yeah, the backpacks had my keepsakes in there from cheer, from certain parts of my life I didn't want to forget. I'm kind of freaking out. He hangs up on the phone with me, and then I call my sister, and I'm sobbing my eyes out, freaking out, saying Dad and our stepmom threw all my stuff away. And she hangs up the phone on me. She calls my dad. She's cussing him out, basically like saying, I can't believe you threw all our stuff away. That was all for keepsakes. He's like freaking out. So they drive to the Goodwill. Again, I'm in Utah, so I cannot do anything about this. I'm literally just standing there like, my stuff had been taken to the Goodwill. No, not on Sunday, on Friday. My stepmom went through my stuff on Friday, didn't tell my dad until Sunday. Took my stuff to the Goodwill, and because she thought she was helping, and she thought I went through it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. So they go to the Goodwill, hoping that my stuff is still there. Well, it's not. It was taken to the warehouse across town, which are basically the bins. If you know anything about the bins, it's a huge freaking place that they just dump a bunch of shit into, and you go through and you pick all the stuff you want out. Yeah, so consider my stuff all gone. Nothing of it was technically valuable, but to me it was. I am a very sentimental person. These things were so important to me and irreplaceable. They might not hold value to anyone else, but they were valuable to me. Not to mention that these were keepsakes that I wanted to show my children one day, and now they're gone. So in this moment, I am literally inconsolable. My stepmom's gone MIA because she's crying off doing who knows where. My dad's trying to call her. He's also inconsolable because he feels so bad that all my stuff went to the Goodwill. He had no idea that it went to the Goodwill, and now it's gone. And he knows I'm freaking out. So my stepmom's playing victim, sobbing in the house later on, and she's inconsolable, calling me. I'm not answering because I don't have the mental capacity to do that right now. So I'm calling the warehouse trying to see if any of my stuff is there. Nope, they pretty much tell me this is an ongoing issue. It's as good as gone. Cool. Awesome. Let me go ahead and just start trying to accept that. And the kicker for me was that the 3 things that she decided to keep from my closet were the Raiders hoodie, because her and my dad are Raiders fans. Yay! Thanks. And then the 3 hoodies that my dad makes for him and his buddies every year for their annual trip to Baja. It's not like everyone else doesn't have one, so thanks. Yay, I'm so excited. And honestly, it's really quite funny to me because the only way that this situation would have made sense to me is if you were coked out of your mind and had no idea what's going on. Oh, but you were coherent, and you paid enough attention to detail to pull that out, but not the authentic Mexican dresses that I got for my mission? Right. Cool. She then went on to later send me and my sister a message saying, you can hate me for this one mistake all you want, blah, blah, blah. Then my dad sends us a text in a group chat saying, she loves you, she does all this stuff for you, blah, 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 blah. This isn't about that. Then, to just put the cherry on top, because I've gone MIA, I'm not talking to my dad, I'm not talking to her. The only person I'm literally talking to is my sister because I can't even fathom talking to anyone else. My stepmom sends us a message saying that we need to be more mature, act like adults, because us fighting is making my dad upset. Oh, and this wouldn't have never happened if you would have just got your stuff and taken it to your house now that you're married. Yeah, to my 1-bedroom apartment that has no storage. I live in a basement apartment. You have 3 extra rooms in a 5-bedroom home. But yeah, she is sorry for hurting my feelings, and she is sorry that she didn't ask my dad before taking it to the Goodwill. Instead of saying that she's sorry for thinking she had the right to go through my things and deem what was valuable and what wasn't. Oh, and then just, spur of the moment, take it to the Goodwill. I don't know who needs to be admitted to the psych ward more, her or me, because I'm about to go absolutely feral. I don't feel like I need to explain how absurd it is that she went through my room and my stuff and didn't ask for my consent to throw it away. And for anybody that's going to say, oh, it's not your room, it's their house. Her name isn't on the deed to the house. My dad's is. She also hasn't paid the mortgage once. So actually, it's not her room either. It's also my childhood room. I think that I get a little bit of credit for that. And if you were that eager to get my stuff out of your house, just ring me on the phone. If I knew my stuff was going to be going to the Goodwill, I would have made the trip down to get it. So I hope that she was genuinely on drugs, because this isn't sitting right with me.
I made the extremely tough decision to leave my husband last year after being with him for 21 years. We were married for 8 years. And my ex-husband is not a bad guy, wonderful father. But there were some things that would send people into orbit when I would tell them things. Like, number one, and I'm not exaggerating, my ex-husband did not tell me that he loved me. That sends people into outer space when I tell them that. That was something that I accepted, we'll call it accepted, but now I see it as settling. I had accepted this about him, but what ended up happening is years and years and years of what I will consider emotional neglect, unintentionally. I began to resent him, and there's a few videos that I want to make of things that I've learned, especially with us coming up on 1 year divorced, and what I learned about divorcing the good guy and what a villain that makes you, how hard it is on your kids. I just want this to reach someone going through the same thing or thinking about divorcing the good guy. And if you have questions, if you have concerns that you have for yourself or your kids, drop it in the comments. I'd love for somebody to ask me something, because I feel like my story can help somebody. We're going to start here. A couple days ago, I posted a video about how I divorced the good guy after being married for 8 years, but we were together for 21 years. And that's gotten quite the attention, 2 million views at this point. I have made some follow-up videos saying that I would eventually tell my story the way I want to tell it on my own terms, because that's what I came here for. I've been very apprehensive because the comment section is gnarly. And I know that the reason why I left is not the same story as a lot of people, and it is very selfish. The reason why I left was very selfish. And I'm ready for all the hate that's going to come, because I know from that comment section and from my inbox that there are so many women who are afraid to say the same thing. Let's start here. People fail to realize a man can be a good guy, a great father, but a horrible husband. The reason why I decided to pick this comment is because it's the #1 liked comment. That means a lot of people resonate with that. A lot of you are married to a good guy on the outside, but not a good guy on the inside. That was not the case. Nobody will be able to convince me on any video and any comment that my ex-husband is a bad guy. I share one tidbit of information that I considered emotional neglect and that I was settling, but I accepted about him, was that he couldn't tell me that he loved me. And that was not an exaggeration. A question that I get a lot is, did you tell him you loved him? I did, but I stopped doing that after a while. My ex-husband and I met when I was 16. We had our first child when I was 19. A lot transpired over that time. In the beginning, yes, he could tell me that he loved me. So much to unpack there, and I will go more into, what happened over the years, if that will help someone. But people are wondering, why did I leave? Why did I leave? I left because I wanted to. I left because I didn't want to be married anymore. I left because I didn't enjoy marriage. There were a lot of things wrong in that relationship, and I think that we had grown apart. I never felt like I could be myself. I never felt like I could be myself. If you go through my videos, you will see a transformation happen, and that transformation did not happen until I divorced my husband. I've never felt more like myself than I have in my entire life. I now know what love feels like. All the things that my husband did to show me that he loved me, I can do for myself. And that might be selfish. And I knew I was going to break my children's heart. And we have a lot to unpack here. But I left because I wanted to. Because essentially I was in a relationship with somebody that I really didn't even like. And I felt like he didn't like me. He was attached. 21 years is a long time. We had a lot of appearances to upkeep. There was no abuse happening. There was years and years of emotional neglect on his part and mine. We resented each other. I did him a favor. Let's start here.
Story time on how an Uber driver attempted to kidnap me. I know it sounds crazy. Y'all, please bear with me because y'all know I do not do these type of videos, but so, boom, let's get to the story. One night, it was like a Sunday, I think. So I get in the car. Well, I put myself in the car. I get in the car, right? And I'm like, hey, how are you doing? I'm respectful because I'm like that in every ride. Like, you know, I'm always asking how you doing, like, how your day been? I'm not trying to chat it up, but I'm just trying to make sure your energy's good. Like, I walked in the car. I'm like, hey, how are you? He just looked back and which was fine. I'm like, okay, cool. It's 10. I'm tired anyway. Like, I don't want to talk, but it was kind of like eerie, right? So, okay, cool. And this was nothing but God. So before I left my house, I charged my headphones, right? Because I always put my headphones in. Don't do that, y'all. Please do not use headphones in an Uber. You need to listen to what is going on around you. Don't be like me, okay? It wasn't, he had his phone connected, right? So I'm listening to the Bluetooth and they're talking about child porn, okay? They're talking about child predators and all types of stuff about the black webs that they use and what child predators use to talk to kids and all these websites and stuff. I listen to true crime podcasts all the time, but this one was different. Like, they were diving too deep into what was going on. Like, it was weird. Like, so I'm kind of getting, like, a little, not scared, but I'm like, what the heck is he listening to? And I ended up searching it up. So if I find it, I'll put it on the screen or in the comments. Every time I'm in an Uber, I'll put the address I'm going to in my maps. And that's what I did. But I noticed he took a turn, right? So I'm like, where is he going? But he had ended up going to the gas station. But this man did not say a word. He did not give me a heads up, anything. He just pulls into Quick Trip. And then he stopped the car. Then he looks at me and he says, I'm going to the bathroom. Is that okay? I'm talking to y'all how he's talking to me. He literally was like, I'm going to the bathroom. Is that okay? Like, it was a weird, eerie tone. Like, ooh. So then, when he went inside the gas station, I called somebody. And I'm like, stay on the phone with me. Because I feel weird in this Uber. Like, and I should have just gotten out right then and there. But I was like, okay. Like, I'm praying. I'm literally praying while this man is in the gas station. I'm like, Lord, please don't let this be my last day. Like, oof. And it's so crazy. Because a man, he was in the side. Like, he was parked next to us. And he was like, you good to me in the car? And I was like, yeah, like, and I put up the thumbs up. I'm like, shit, I hope so. Like, okay, then, right, he comes back in the car, and he looks into the mirror, and he's just looking at me, and my heart is literally racing, y'all, because the car is off, and he's just looking at me. Then he turns to me, like, slowly. He turns his head slowly, and he said, are you safe? And I'm like, bro, what? Like, my heart started beating. I'm telling y'all, I was scared. I was so scared. And I was like, yes, why'd you ask that? Like, is there a reason I shouldn't be? And then he said, he looks at me again, and he turns again. And he said, are you sure you're safe? I said, yes. Like, why'd you ask? I said, why'd you ask that? And he said, because you look young. I'm like, in my job, I'm trying to act like I'm older, because nah, you listening to all that child, So I'm like, no, I'm not that young, like, maybe I'm 30. Like, he says, you're in an unusual Uber. Bro, when I tell y'all, my heart sunk to the ground, because what do you mean I'm in an unusual Uber? Like, y'all, I started praying in my head. I'm like, Lord, oh my God, like, I'm gonna, and I'm like, what do you mean unusual? He was just like, you look too young to be out at a time like this. And I'm like, oh no. I said, is everything okay? Like, and he says, yes. If you ever feel unsafe, let me know. You're also really, really pretty. And I'm like, okay, well, do I need to jump out? But I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, cool. I know God got me. I should not be fearing anything. Like, I know God got me. He's not gonna let anything happen to me. Like, I know God got me. Y'all, if anything like that happens, jump out the car. But anyway, so we're riding, mind you, it's an hour ride. I don't have my headphones in. I'm listening to what's going on. The podcast is so freaking weird. Like, it's just talking about everything, all the tactics that they use and all types of stuff. We're getting closer to the destination, right? And we were on the right side of the road, right? And then he got into the turning lane. The buildings were black. Like, the buildings, all the lights are turned off. It was nobody in that parking lot, bro. And when I tell y'all, I got to praying. I'm like, Lord, like, oh my goodness, like, I'm gonna cry because this is crazy. I'm like, Lord. Like, I'm literally praying, like, don't let nothing happen to me, please. Mind y'all, the directions, it did not say turn at all. It was no point of him turning that way at all. So, cool. He was about to turn, and I said, sir, there's not a turn right here. And he just looked in the mirror, bro. He just looked in the mirror, and that's when I started talking to the person I was on the phone with, because, like, you need to know that I have somebody, like, I'm talking to somebody. It's just me in a car, but baby, I have somebody on speed dial that'll come through, and yeah, so, anyways, yeah, so he just looked at me through the mirror, and he just looked for a good 20 seconds, like, y'all, my heart is, like, I'm panicking. So, yeah, then he got out the turning lane, and thank God he took me to my destination. Y'all know what's crazy? As soon as I was about to turn into the neighborhood, police car was just sitting there. I'm like, okay, like, God really loves me, because, y'all, it probably wasn't about to be another night.
Some of us, I don't want to name names, make pretty bad throat noises when they drink. And it makes me think that the throat is
me?
No.
Is it me?
It's not Travis.
I went on a date last night and I was debating whether or not I wanted to tell this story, but I decided it's the last day of the year. It's my life. F it. I met this guy one night when I was on a solo date. He was seated next to me. We ended up exchanging numbers and Instagrams and having some small conversation, but that was that. A couple days later, he asked me if I wanted to go out, and I was like, sure, why not? So our date was yesterday, Tuesday. He calls me on Sunday and is like, just want to make some plans for Tuesday. Does that work for you? I'm like, sure. And he sends me this cocktail bar. Now, for reference, when we were texting, he at first mentioned like going to a speakeasy, but the place he ended up sending me and wanting to go to was a little bit more casual, but whatever. I thought the intentionality and like setting the plan was like really nice. So the day of the date comes and he texts me the day of at around 12 and he's like, I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight, which I thought was really thoughtful. And I was like, looking forward to seeing you as well. And then he hit me with the throw on something sexy, see you at 8. First of all, don't tell me what to do. Second of all, ew. The time comes and as I'm driving over there, he's like, hey, I just walked in and the place we were supposed to go to is really packed. Come to this place instead. And he sends me a sushi restaurant that's across the street. I'm okay with a pivot, but I think what annoyed me most was that like, obviously there was no plan, there was no reservation, there was no like anything, which he kind of implied that he would do. So I pull up to the restaurant. We're seated at like the sushi bar where they make the food in front of you. Everything is fine. We're having okay conversation. But then he reveals to me that he lives 5 minutes away and that he actually could have walked. So now I'm kind of annoyed because for reference, the place was 20 minutes away from me and this place was walking distance from you. Okay, not very thoughtful. So again, the conversation isn't really that great. Like I'm carrying 70% of it. And at around 9:30 or so, he's like, okay, are you ready to go to the next spot? And I'm like, oh, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for spontaneity, but we were already at an impromptu sushi dinner date. And I was just wondering like how much more spontaneous is he trying to get? So he calls an Uber to this place that's like 10 minutes away. It's another bar. He doesn't open the door for me when the Uber gets there, but rather opens the door for himself and like slides across the seat. So again, I'm just like, okay. So we pull up to the second bar. It's packed. Mind you, neither one of us is drinking. So we put our names on the list because that's all we can really do. We walk back outside and it's kind of just like, okay, what now? And he's like, we can try the bar across the street. So we like run across the street. We get inside and it's like this space cowboy themed. It's dead inside. It looks like mini golf, like neon mini golf inside. And I'm just like, honestly, it's okay. I think we can just call it. We get an Uber back to his neighborhood, basically. I get in my car and I have not heard from him since. So, yeah.
I know something you don't.
Yo, I'm so tired of these hairstylists. Like, I'm so serious. Like, I'm so tired of hairstylists and them not taking accountability and them thinking they can talk to their clients any type of way. Because that is not how you run a fucking business at all. Like, at all. So, I booked my appointment a month ago. For last week. Keep that in mind. I booked my appointment for last week. So when I like to get my maintenances done, I like to get my nails, my hair, my lashes, all of that done in the same week. So I'm feeling brand new. So I went to go get my lashes done. I'm on the table or whatever, get my lashes done. When I get up off the table or whatever, I check my phone. I see that I have a message from the hairstylist that I booked stating that she could no longer do my hair for the day that I booked, which was going to be the next day. She couldn't do my hair because it was her mom's birthday and they had plans. Mind you, when your mom's birthday was, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. She asked me if I could come the next day. I said I couldn't come the next day because on those Thursdays, I work all day. So I couldn't come next day. So I said, well, shit, like Thanksgiving is next week. So let me just see if I can come next week. So I asked her, hey, can I come next Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving? She said, yeah, I got 5 o'clock available. I said, I'll take that, right? Cool. I'll take that. And I asked her, was she still going to honor the sale? So let me a little backstory on that. She had a sale for 50% off on her quickies and her sew-ins, right, for her turning 30. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I've been wanting to book with the stylist for a minute. Let me book right now. So I booked for my sewing, and on her sewing, on the policy for the I can't even talk because I'm so fucking mad right now. But on the rules for booking a sale was that you could not reschedule, right? But she was rescheduling me. I wasn't rescheduling. So I still wanted to make sure, because you know how stylists are. They're very crafty. So I asked her. She never responds. So I'm like, okay, whatever. She told me come at 5, whatever. I'll just see when I get there. So I text her, I think I texted her 2 days ago, and I asked her what was the extra price for styling if I wanted to get curls. She never texts back. Okay, cool. She might be busy. It's the holidays. I ain't putting that on her. Whatever. So today it was my appointment that she rescheduled from last week to this week, right? I text her and I said, hey, is the address the same that's in your is the same as the one in your bio? She said, hey, yes, right? So meaning that she knew I was coming. I text her, she knew I was coming. Okay, cool. I get here at 4:57. Mind you, she's in Camden. I'm in Philly. So I left at the right amount of time to get here to make sure that I can get my hair done on time. I don't want no hiccups, no problems. I come here and I just got done washing my hair, all of that. I get here. When I get here, she has somebody else in the chair. I'm still like, I'm a cool person. Like, I know shit happens. Like, I'm a service provider myself, so I know things happen. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just on my phone, watching Tik Toks. So she's finishing up the girl's curls, and then she goes to do the little sister hair. She go to do her leave out. Okay, cool. I'm still not having an issue. I'm still cool. I'm sitting back there, no problem. Mind you, when I did walk in, I spoke and nobody spoke back to me. So whatever. Okay, cool. I'm here to get my hair done. We don't even have to speak. I go sit in the back where she told me to sit down. I sit down. So her brother or whoever, it's a guy working in there. I think that's her brother. He asks like, oh, is she here for you or me? So the girl was like, I don't know. So I'm like, so she asked me, like, who you here for? I said, oh, I'm here for you. She said, okay, no issue. I get in the fucking chair. She blow dried my hair out a little more, and she hot combed my hair. So then she gets to braiding just my leave out. Mind you, during this time, we're really not talking. Like, she was just saying, like, he asked me, was she burning me with the hot comb? I said, no, I'm just scared of the hot comb. Like, I've been burnt before. That's it. That's all we talked about. She asked me to keep my head still. I kept my head still. I'm sitting there, she braids down, I took them out already, but she braids down just my fucking leave out, right? That's all we got to, was her braiding my motherfucking leave out. Other than that, I'm not saying nothing in the chair. I'm looking on Tik Toks, it's no issue. Boom. A client of hers walk in, and she like, you here for me? And she like, yeah, I'm here for you. She's like, oh my God, I overbooked myself. I don't even know how I did that. So now I'm like, okay. But I don't say nothing. You can't see it on my face. I don't say nothing, but I put my phone down so I could hear what's going on. So then the girl like, she goes sit down or whatever, and she asks the other boy if he could do her hair, right? She's like, well, can you do my hair? So then the girl was like, no, how you going to do that? The stylist, my stylist, how you going to do that? Because she want to still get both our money, right? She want to get my money and she want to get her money. Okay, cool. I ain't even mad at that. But I'm in the chair right now getting my hair done. So she like, what's your number? So the girl starts saying her number. She was like, no, not you, her. So I start saying my number, right? And then she's going to say, oh, that's because your appointment wasn't confirmed. What? How is my appointment not confirmed when you told me to reschedule? You told me what you had, and I agreed for what you had. So how is my appointment then not confirmed? That don't even make no sense. I sent my deposit. I made my appointment. You pushed my appointment. I didn't push my appointment. I didn't tell you I couldn't make it. I didn't do any of those things. You did that. So now you're about to sit here and tell me that my appointment, right? So with her saying that, I didn't even say nothing, right? So she was like, so when she said that my appointment wasn't confirmed, I'm like, oh no, I'm like, you text me back. I was like, you text me back. I was like, I got the third, you text me back. She was like, no, but I never text you back after you said you'll take that. So that means it wasn't confirmed. But she talking to me and her hand is like this, right? And the way her chair is like low, and she's not a little person. She's a big woman. So I'm looking up or whatever, and I'm looking up towards her and she's doing all of this. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm literally confused. So I'm making my face. I'm confused. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. If you asked me to reschedule, you gave me the time, I said okay, then how was my appointment not confirmed, right? So she like, oh, well, you could calm down. Mind you, that's all I said to her. I didn't say nothing. Oh, no, she said, first before she said that, she said, oh, you could stop making crazy faces. Now you telling me I can't make a face because I'm literally fucking confused as to why you telling me my appointment is not confirmed, but my appointment was very much so confirmed. You the one who told me to come here at 5 o'clock when my appointment was last week. I could have been and got my hair done. All of this would have been avoided. So she like, mind you, I'm a very emotional person. So when she was like, oh, you don't gotta make those faces, I said, I'm not making no crazy faces. She's like, oh, well, you can calm down. I'm looking around like, who is she talking to? Like, who are you talking to? She said, you can calm down. She got her hand like, oh, you can calm down. You can calm down. I'm like, I'm not hype. I'm just trying to get I said it was just a miscommunication. That's all I said. I said it's a miscommunication because I thought that my appointment was for 5 o'clock because that's when the time you told me to come. She like, she's like, oh, well, it wasn't confirmed. Like, she's trying to have the last word. Oh, well, it wasn't confirmed because I never text you back after you said you will take it. So that means you wasn't just going to do my hair. You was going to keep my deposit then? Like, I ain't have no appointment or nothing? You didn't even offer a refund or nothing. You just asked me, can I come another day? And I did what you did, accommodating you, and came another day. So how is my appointment not confirmed? That shit don't make no sense. So I'm like, I feel myself like, mind you, it's other people in there. So we going back and forth with other people, and I feel like she was trying to little girl me. And that's one thing I don't play about. I don't like nobody trying to little girl me. So I'm feeling like embarrassed. I'm feeling like she talking to me crazy, and I don't like it. And she was talking to me crazy. Mind you, I'm barely saying shit. So I'm like, I felt myself getting emotional. So I said, can I just go to the bathroom real quick? She was like, you can go to the bathroom. You can just go ahead. And she gives me the $50. She's like, you could just leave. Mind you, all I have is two braids in my head. I ain't say shit to her. I ain't say nothing that was disrespectful. This was an inconvenience on her part. But instead of her taking accountability and saying, you know what, I was wrong, let me try to accommodate both of y'all, she tried to dismiss me and talk crazy to me and think I wasn't going to say nothing back, and then try to give me at least she gave me my deposit back, but she tried to give me my deposit back and then try to push me out the salon. That's no way you run a fucking business. You bitches don't know how to run businesses at all. Y'all just be doing fucking hair, no people skills, no customer service, no nothing. You made a mistake, so own up to it. Why the fuck is it on me? So now it's the day before Thanksgiving and I don't have my hair done. It's fucking 6 o'clock. Who the fuck is going to do my hair today? Nobody. So now my plans is ruined because you're fucking unprofessional. These bitches are weird.